Now, so our strong level here, defended price, you got a fair value gap, fair value gap. We're back above last week's high. We're back above the VWAP. We get back above the opening, you would think we target much higher. You would think. What do I know? Just trade the levels as they develop. And honestly, there has not been a single trade that I personally would have taken. Doesn't mean I'm right. I'm just talking about myself. $10 to IB highs and lows. I'm going to go ahead and mark mine. IB low. Here, mark this. IB high. How much you want to bet it gets the high first? So if you wanted to take a long against last week's high against VWAP, you could have a very small stop, in all honesty, be a paper cut loss. But that seems like an interesting trade there. It's on a low time frame. Now, I wish it would have went ahead and took the London low, but it doesn't have to. When the Bulls are in control, they don't have to do that. I like when they do. It gives me more confidence. Well, didn't pull back enough there, in my humble opinion. So now we talked about, is this the beginning of a trend line here? So let's see what happens here, because this very well could be. We've got our anchor point, touch point, confirmation, if it comes back in. It's just a hypothesis of a line right now. And if you wanted to, let it bounce off this, get over this temporary little trend line, and then you might get even a better entry. A worse price, but a better entry, because you'd have more confirmation that something pushed price up in this move. So taking a long right there is the early adopter trade. Like I want to be in this trade. So this is a visible spot that you could take that. If you're waiting for more confirmation, you would want to see it bounce there, break this trend line that looks like it's being developed. So if you took that long there, now move your stop to one tick under last week's low and hands free. It'll be a paper cut loss, or you could be in a really nice trade here. And if it gets you out at a, one tick loss or something, who cares? But I would put it one tick under the low of that candle and say, get up there. Now, if you wanted to move your stop up to break even or a one tick profit, I think you're good. And then go refresh your beverage and let price do what it's going to do without you managing. You took that. Okay, nice. Maybe it'll pop it, but it is against this possible trend line formation. Worst case, it's a break even trade, right? Back to the drawing board. But I like the conflict. But what I did like is it actually did bounce off the strong level. It didn't need to grab this liquidity to fair value gap back above the VWAP. So I thought that represented a good opportunity. Will it work? What do I know?
Should I be trading? Am I biased? Am I following price or fighting price?
On any single trade, we have no clue if it's going to work. And that's why you can't get married to an entry. If it works, great. If it doesn't, whatever. How much leverage should you trade with? Whatever leverage you can say, whatever. Whatever. I don't care. All right, what you going to do against this trend line? And right there, I'd probably be out. Oh, well, it's a scratch trade. Wait for the next setup. Personally, everyone has different styles. If you kept your stop one tick behind the low of that candle, you're still in the trade. Um, I kind of like when I set them at those uh, one tick behind the low of that candle, and it's just a paper cut loss. It and some people are just so adverse to taking any loss that sometimes it's a really good practice instead of trying to just take the gift to break even, a one tick, or put it at minus one tick, minus two ticks. It's okay. It's good for your development. I had a guy yesterday who wanted a Zoom pass, and by the end of our half-hour discussion, I think I convinced him trading was not for him. Um, his every question was, "How can I scale? How can I scale?" And yeah, it was an interesting discussion. Much slower than you want to, right? I told him once trading becomes boring and your account balance tells you you can scale, that's when you can scale. Are you still in it, Caleb? Gotcha. Yeah, I don't blame you. Nothing wrong with break even. Wait for the next trade. But that is one reason I like to put those stops at one tick behind whenever I do something like that. Like, okay, one tick behind that, because that really is an important level. It happened to basically double tap. Um, there's no wrong answer. For me, I tend to not like seeing a single loss. And
Stretch.
sometimes that hurts me because you get those double taps like this and you're like, oh man, why don't you have to be so stingy? All right. So we said there's two trades. You can take this trade here against last week's high. That's what that purple dot is. I have no clue if YouTube can see that, but if you have my indicator, you got it. Against the VWAP, put the stop one tick behind the low of that candle. Depending on how you want to manage that, you're either still in the trade or you got out for a scratch. So that's the first entry. The next entry would be let it bounce, let it break above this trend line, and then the next entry we get, you go for long. There is no next entry yet. You'll get a worse price, but a little more confirmation. And IB highs and lows. And, as we said, wouldn't be shocked it gets that IB high first. When the bulls are in control, a lot of times they will not grab the obvious pools of liquidity. It stops short. It fair value gaps back up and goes to the opposite end, catching these shorts that didn't get out off sides. And then they start rushing to get out, and boom, it goes up. If you are still long in this entry, um, I think you definitely move your stop up, cover your commissions, let your hands go free because it's got 12 more points to the IB high.
Bigger picture.
And then as soon as you can get a 10 pointer, go ahead and move your stop to the 10 pointer, in my humble opinion. Where would that be? Let's do a little measurement. You took that. Okay, 10 is here. So if this thing gets up over this opening, I think you move your stop to a 10 pointer. Give that opening a chance to defend, to come to today's IB high and the half session IB high. It's kind of what I think. Price really doesn't need to go below here. So if you want your initial stop behind that, I got you. Isn't it amazing how much longer you'll stay in a short than a long, Caleb? Because I know you took heat on that short up here. Very little, but a little bit. Yeah. I'm telling you, when you make that switch, I think you'll really start even enjoying trading more. All right, so broke that little phantom trend line. There wasn't a trend line yet. We needed the confirmation here and a ladder below that. That never happened. So this was, no trend line, but it was something we were watching. It had a reaction. Early adopter long was here. And if you're long, I'd be targeting the IB high. Once it gets over the opening, lock in your 10 points. I'll be right back. All right, that's the level that they needed to defend. Will it happen? I have no clue. It just doesn't make sense to be short bias. That's correct. That is correct. Unless it's, yes, historically. That is true. Yep. We try to continually point that out. And sometimes you just have to go look at the chart yourself and go, yep, yep, I really do need to be long focused, especially when the bulls control. All right. Well, at any point, did you have a 10 pointer? Oh, like barely, you know, barely. See if that level holds price up. If you're long, that's your only protection layer. Now price is so slow, isn't it? Let's go to a 3-minute chart. My goodness, look how ugly that is. That is so ugly. We're in a 1 minute trying to find a trade in 8-point candle land. Talk about danger. We'll go back to 1 minute just to finish out this trade. Because once we got over the VWAP, I went to a 1 minute. Once we got over VWAP and the weekly high, last week's high, for this possible long here as an early adopter. And so let's finish out that trade until it's over. You know, one of my personal philosophies I try to follow, I can't look for a counter trade if I'm supposed to be, for example, I'm supposed to be long here. I'm mentally long. In other words, I can't look for a short now. I've got to finish this trade out mentally, and then reevaluate the chart. I believe continuing a trade mentally is very important. It teaches you lots of lessons. Number one, about patience and all that good stuff. I would not have captured the 10 pointer there. I would have really tried to focus for here. Why? Because the bulls are in control. You had a long at a highly visible location. The bull showed strength here by not needing to grab this liquidity to fair value gap back up. So I thought that was a good risk reward to try to target here. Doesn't mean it's going to work. And as I said, my DOM is not even open today. Okay, this is the line that they need to defend. If they can't, well, we might be going lower. But I'm certainly not looking for shorts. My goodness. I promised you a red day, not a P&L day, but not worth trading day. Yeah, certainly a lot. That would be the, yeah, as we said, if you're looking for more of a confirmation, that would be your entry. So Caleb's back with the long on this move. I think it's the right trade. I wouldn't have added, if this was my initial entry, I wouldn't have added. There's not enough room there for me to do that, in my humble opinion. But if, like we said, this was the early adopter trade, then we needed it to break this. Whoops. Sorry. Let me get the right drawing tool. Early adopter needed to break the trend line. And then if you're waiting for confirmation, you're going to wait for the next level. That was that level. So if you're long there, to me, you're in the confirmation phase of this possible move. To me, it's this is a safer entry than this entry, but it's a worse price with more confirmation. So this level I drew, price defended. That was your confirmation. So will it get up here? I have no clue. But in general, I know we're going to be safe trading the way we're calling it out. Now your fair value gapping, volume and balancing. Maybe we'll get a really nice strong candles here. Caleb's going, yeah, baby. $19 minutes to 19 minutes to top of the hour. That'll be my stopping time. I'll have to rest my voice for sure. Very nice. I think we saw that very well and called that very well. 2 safe entries. %, it will take out either the IB high or IB low. And a more preponderance of the time, it's the IB high. Come on, get up there. My goodness. Certainly having a difficult time getting over this. In all honesty, well, it's either this or that. Either one, it doesn't matter. Just it's still holding price down. It's got to get over the opening. And I think if it gets over the opening, you're home free and you're long. So if you took the original early adopter, you are at your 10-pointer now. You had it one time. If you want to just grab it your second time, I don't blame you. If you took the second long, your 10-pointer is not that much higher, but it's got to get over the opening. Come on, push it. Anybody else take either of those two longs? There we go. Come on. So in general, we were not calling trades here, but then we called long and long. Oops. Yeah, long and long. Nothing to write home to mama about, but safe trades.
Bigger picture.
Bigger picture, I think we're okay. My goodness. Captured 50% of the move, Caleb. Getting over that opening sometimes can be so hard. That's your home free ticket. Yeah. Let's go back to a 3-minute chart. Oof. How ugly is that? Got 4 points. Nice. This just isn't worth trading, which we pretty much knew today. If you're green, close up shop. If you're red, close up shop. This is not the type of day you make back a bad morning trade. It just probably isn't. You know, it's funny. Still, the two best trades were the London low. I'm at the London high and the overnight high. Both those trades freaking paid. This strong level would have paid if you took that. Now, 8-point candle south. My goodness. Well, it will be interesting to see. Do they get the IV high or low first today? NQ is back under its VWAP, huh? Lack of direction, large candles, not worth trading. Just tell the chart, no thank you. If you took no trades today, I think you're in the right camp. If you're green, you were surgical. If you're red, you probably chased moves, which is certainly not our system, right? Oh, well, I hate when days are like this. You know, you stream on YouTube and there's really nothing. But we did call out a couple, kept everybody safe. We weren't switching back and forth long shorts. We had reasons for our 2 entries. Now, if you took the first early adopter long, you had 2 opportunities at 10 pointers. I encouraged the second capture, not the first, but the second one. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. About 11 minutes to the top of the hour. Hmm. Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Scott. Well, I'll tell you what we kind of called out just to give you um
Stop trading in 10 minutes. Only trade your best trading hours. Take a break. Walk away. Be done. Be content. Adjust risk settings.
um so what we did nothing here. Nothing that I would have called out to take. Big candles, 8-point candles, a 15-point candle. And then when we came to this strong level and had this fair value gapping move back up over the VWAP, told the group, because here's last week's high, this purple dot. So that purple dot was right here earlier. An early adopter long would be here, shooting to break over this little trend line that was starting to develop. I said, if you wanted to wait, let it break this little baby trend line and wait for the next level, which we drew here. So this would have been the second entry to go long, and just not getting follow through, which we kind of, we're seeing that on all the indices. There's no follow through, but those are the only two micro entries, this early adopter long, this one, which I thought was a safer long. It had a nice move, um, but no follow through yet. So that's all we've done, man. And then on a 3-minute chart, oh my gosh, look how ugly that is. Yeah. Like I said, I knew not to launch my DOM today. Even if I was feeling perfect, I would not have launched my DOM. I would have waited. There was nothing here to get that excited about. In neither of those trades was it that exciting. Before we pop off of here, let's go back to a high time frame. Um, Let me move a few things around. We'll keep both of those there. Let's remove that. Let's remove that. Let's go back to an hourly chart, and let's just once again get where you're at, where if you're going to trade longer than our Zoom, I wouldn't do it today, but you're welcome to. So from the all-time high, we're that trend line there. We had a beautiful touch of it yesterday that offered that short we pointed out. And we're just sandwiched between this high time frame trend line, right? 6-day, and you might even want to say, I think I want to see what it looks like if I anchor it to there. It's a little further out than I want it to be. So I'm going to go back to here because that's really the correct anchor. Yeah, that's really the correct anchor. Yep, that's where I want it. And you're just sandwiched between these two high time frame trend lines here. It needs to break one way or the other. Not excited about really trading inside of here. That's my opinion. It's one trader's opinion is all I know. Let's go look at this just from RTH perspectives. So RTH perspectives, you want to make sure so this day here, you've got this gap up. Make sure that's on your chart. This is the 14th. You got this gap up here. You want to denote that as well. We actually did have a gap up here, but of course we have filled it, which was on our radar. But make sure you have those two gaps on your chart. And this is just disgusting. Don't need to trade this. I will come back and look at it this afternoon. I'm going to need to rest my vocal cord, so. My goodness, look at that. Hmm. Hmm. Well, my boys, there's 4 minutes left to the top of the hour. I'm going to go ahead and call it. There's nothing here worth trading that's going to happen in the next 4 minutes. I will check the chart later this afternoon, but I expect a zero trading today, day after a bank holiday. Once again, if you're using our trade journal, this would be a wonderful day to trade journal and mark as a special day. Kept me safe and no trade so far. I think it was the right move. The early adopter move would have made 10 points, maybe. The second one, just a few, but it ain't going to change anything, is it? We'll save some gas for another day. So, all right, guys, I will see you later. Thanks for trading with me.